Hey guys, wanted to show you something really cool here. In case anybody has had a chance to play with Docker, Docker containers are pretty neat. Here are my Docker images. These are, let's reload that. So I've got a couple things that I'm running here along with Ubuntu and like a Plex Media server. And then here's something I kind of wanted to show you guys. I thought this was really cool, DockerCraft. So if you don't know what Docker is, it's kind of like running a virtual machine. If you do Docker, once you get in Docker installed, you can install it on Mac or Linux. And then once you have Docker running, I think on Mac you have to do like just a couple of things before you can actually just run Docker, just the Docker command in the terminal. But if you type in Docker images, you would, when you first install it, you won't have any images. But you can do Docker run, and if you wanted to do a Ubuntu image, you would just type Docker run Ubuntu. And if you don't, what Docker will automatically do is it will grab the image file of Ubuntu, which is 188 megs. It's a super slim version of Ubuntu, and it's really cool. You can build off this image of Ubuntu. And where does it get it from? It's kind of like a repository. It automatically goes on the Docker Hub website, and it grabs the Ubuntu image here, Ubuntu. It kind of does it automatically for you in the shell. So it grabs this official Ubuntu image with 41.5 million pulls. That's how many downloads have been done on that image already. So what does that mean? Well, if you're running an image, then you can build off what are called containers. So once you have the image of Ubuntu, you can create containers. So if I do Docker PS -A, this is going to show me all the processes of containers that I have. So here's like here's an image, or here's a Plex container. So here's the name of the image that this container is built off of, right? And this is basically like probably some version of Linux with a Plex Media server built onto it. Here's some Linux. I think this is built off Ubuntu with Node.js already installed. And then here's the name of the container. So when I do a Docker PS-A, it's basically showing me the container, which is sort of like it's kind of like a fork of that image, which is really cool. Anyway, but that's not what I wanted to show. What I wanted to show was if I do, let's see, Docker start, I already have the images installed, so I can do Docker start, and I'm going to do DockerCraft, which is a really cool, it's a Docker image that basically allows you to control Docker containers in Minecraft. It's pretty crazy. This one, the DockerCon, I think like this last year or something semi-recent. So I thought it was kind of neat. So if I do Docker PS PS, right? Just PS shows me the processes that are running. So it shows that the image of this DockerCraft is running. The name of the container is just called DockerCraft. And then this right here is showing me the guy that built the image already binds port 25565 inside of the image to 25565 to your computer. So what it's doing is it's saying, hey, anything that on the computer side that tries to access 25565, route that into the container. That's what Docker goes ahead and takes care of that. So if I do like, if I want to go inside of the container, you would do like Docker execute it, and we would type the name of the container we're trying to connect to, DockerCraft, and then we would want to connect as bash. And now I'm inside of the container as bash, and if I do a list, let me go to the root directory, and if I do a list, then it's got the basic files that basically a Ubuntu system. So that's or a Linux system of some kind. Here's all the root files you would find on a Linux system, or even on a Mac, because it's basic stems off Unix. Anyways, So if I exit out of the container, I'm out of the container. If I type in Docker PS, the container is still running. Oh, that's because I typed in Docker run, Docker PS. Okay, cool. So that shows the container. I also want to do a Docker start on my Plex Media server. So let's just do Docker start and do Plex. Oh wait, it's let me just tab. Sick Meyer is for whatever. That's actually the name of the container for the Plex Media server. Docker PS. Docker PS-A. I'm going to get the 2 containers running. Let me make this bigger. There we go. With, that shows me all of them. PS-A shows all of them. PS just shows the ones that are running. So it says 32400. This is, so this is a separate container running a Plex Media server. So here's the name of the image. Here's the name of the containers. So if I go open a browser app and I type in localhost, and I go to 32400, and I think for Plex Media server you have to do a /web. Yeah, there we go. Boom, Plex Media, and it shows me that there's, a movie that, here's a movie that's, just a temporary thing to, test out this container. So here's where it gets fun. Okay, so I have this Plex Media server running in a container, and I want to go ahead and open up. Let's go like downloads here. This is where it gets crazy. Right click and open with Java 8 runtime. Let's go and launch Minecraft. So this is pretty sick. Just go ahead and log in, and I should get multiplayer. There we go. Now I had to add this. It's probably on here. I just add a server, local host, add server. There we go. Minecraft server. So what is this? It's a weird. So here's the Docker container of Plex. There's Plex right there. It tells me how much CPU usage that container is using, how much memory usage that container is using. Here is DockerCraft. This is sort of like a visual representation of how Docker containers work. So this right here, this white stuff, this is the Linux kernel, and containers just sort of build off of a Linux kernel, and you can kind of go in here like, oh, here's Odd Stanley, the node, this is where I run my bot, so I'm like working on a bot container, and I can just sort of like start that container. Now check this out. If I go over here to see what containers are running, Docker PS-A, check it out. Node.js is now on there. If I go back to the game and I shut off the Node.js container, and then I open up my terminal and I do the same command, it should, oh, hold on, maybe I didn't shut it off properly. Start, stop. Oh, it takes a few seconds to actually stop. So this building should turn orange once it's actually stopped. There we go. Yeah, see, it takes a few seconds to shut down that container. Oh, that's PS-A. PS to see what's running. Oh, let me just clear it here. There we go. There we go. See, there's what's actually running, because that's shut off. I go back in here, turn it back on. Now I'm running a whole operating system. So it's cool. With Docker, you've got, there you go. See, and then Node.js is running again. So with Docker, you can just turn on and on multiple operating systems. You can build tons and tons of operating systems and look at how little the amount of CPU usage and memory usage running an entire operating system, running a Minecraft server, takes up. It's just it's a small drop in the bucket. Plex Media server, look at that, 1% of 12 gigs of RAM and 0.2% of like an i7 processor. So you can just stack tons and tons of services, operating systems on with Docker. It's pretty cool. I just thought this was neat because it's an actual visualizations of how Docker works. If I were to hit remove, this would delete the container. Gone. The image is still on the computer, so I could just sort of reboot another container off of the image, but this is a visualization of what the containers essentially can do and how you can use it in Docker, and that's pretty neat. All right, mate. All right, guys. Hope you like that. Bye.